Heather, can you confirm you can see my screen? Thanks, Amber.
And I got 2 drying towels. Well, no, I really got one. The other one is on the floor.
Miss Paula, are you ready?
Who ate the last of the Rice Krispies?
Can you please mute my sister?
Oh,
Miss Paula, are you ready?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, I don't see if Dr. Curry has joined.
Here.
All right. So all right. All right. I call this meeting to order at 5:09. Miss Paula, roll call.
Trustee Calhoun,
present.
Dr. LeBlanc, Trustee Ramos,
Present.
Trustee Little,
Present.
Trustee Lopez.
Present.
Thank you.
And if we can have Trustee Calhoun lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
All right.
I'm gonna stand. Please place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the
of the
United
United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for some.
Moving on to board item, give me a s- Board item 6, report of actions taken in closed session pursuant to Government Code Section 54957.1. We have nothing to report. Moving on to item 7, approval of open session agenda item. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Trustee Calhoun and seconded by Trustee Ramos. Do we have any discussion?
Yeah, I have one correction to the agenda item number. I have one correction. I'm sorry. I lost my track. In the consent agenda, it's the resolution. Item 13.2. 13.28, the indefinite salaries, it should be for fiscal year 2019-20. And the resolution name numbers is incorrect, 2019-20. And that's the only correction.
Dr. Kirk, was I noted for being present?
No.
No.
I am here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Ms. Paula, did you get the corrections for 13.28 regarding the fiscal year?
Fiscal year 2019-20.
Correct. All right, do we have any further discussion? All right, seeing none, Ms. Paula, can you call the vote?
Trustee Calhoun,
Aye.
Trustee LeBlanc,
Do it now.
Dr. LeBlanc,
He's muted.
Aye.
Trustee Ramos,
Aye.
Trustee Little,
Aye.
Trustee Lopez.
Aye.
Thank you.
Moving on to item number 8, recognitions. Dr. Curry, would you like to go over?
So we have a couple recognitions tonight for the board, and some of the individuals are here. So what I'm going to do is announce the winners for these awards and let the board, we can recognize them. And then we will send them a copy of their plaque and also their medallion and also the money at a separate time. So 8.01 is to recognize Dr. Willano, who is a professor of biological sciences. He was the winner for the full-time faculty member, distinguished faculty member, faculty award recipient for this year. The committee that included faculty and also staff selected him for the award for this year. So we'll congratulate him. He will receive his name will be a part of the plaque that's outside the boardroom. He'll receive a medallion and also $500 from the foundation for his recognition for Compton Community College District. The next one, 8.02, is a Distinguished Staff Award recipient. This year's winner is Annette Simmons, who is our mail room clerk / switchboard operator. She's receiving the medallion and also Her name will be on a plaque outside the boardroom and a check for $500. But she is our Distinguished Staff Award winner for this year. And then we also have our Outstanding Adjunct Faculty Award recipient, 8.03. This person receives a medallion, and also they will have their name on a plaque as well. And our faculty this year is John Yerzman, who's a business and industrial science, who's a faculty member in the business and industrial science guided pathways division. So I want to say, first of all, to the board, we want to congratulate those 3 individuals for those faculty and staff awards. The next award is the Civility Champion Award, which was developed this year by our campus, which includes a $100 check for our employees. One recipient is Sean Moore, who is our Business Industry Studies Department Cosmetology instructor for civility. An 8.05 is to our Josh Rosales, who is our production coordinator in the print shop. He was the staff award recipient, 8.05. And then 8.06, our administrator supervisor award winner is Dr. Abidan Osana Peju. So this is a part of our awards that we're receiving for our employees, but the Civility Champion Award is new. And so in the board agenda, we included the background in regards to it. So I just want to say on behalf of Compton Community College District, congratulations this year awardees.
Nice.
All right, moving on to item number 9, request to address the Board of Trustees on agenda and non-agenda matters.
No
Ms. Pollitt?
request.
No requests. At the moment, I'd like to ask the board members if they have any future items to add on for Dr. Curry. Dr. LeBlanc?
Yes, if we could at our next meeting, maybe go over the agenda items for our training session that we'll be having on the 25th of July with Dr. Benjamin, if we could kind of clarify what areas we'd like for her to address with us.
Okay, we can do that. She did send me an email last week, and I sent her a response about the goals. And so the plan was that she will reach out to Board President Lopez regards to the training, and then that they would develop the agenda. And then we can put on the board agenda next month, if it's okay with the board, to talk about it. But she wanted to work on the goals and like a mid-year assessment of the goals. And so she's followed up, but we can have it on the agenda. But the next step is for her to have a conversation with Trustee Lopez.
Excellent. That's good. Thank you.
Any other board members? Trustee Cajon?
I have it down right now under presentations, about a question on one of them. But I would really like to see if you can come up or give to the board what the plan will be when we open up our college. Does the board have to approve the plan? We can talk more about it later, but what the plan is and what steps will our college be going through as far as sanitary stuff, putting circles on the ground or in the classroom, changing the classroom dynamics, how you're going to set up the chairs and the tables. We can discuss it later, but just a discussion about it.
I don't have an issue put on the board agenda next month to talk about the eventual return to campus and what that looks like, but we can be a part of the discussion agenda at the next board meeting.
Okay.
But just hope everyone understands it's a fluid conversation. So we're still waiting on information from LA County. We're waiting on information from the State Department. I'm also dealing with information from the Chancellor's office. So there's a lot of different conversations that are happening in regards to it. And I think as we go through this process, it's a fluid process. And as we continue to develop a plan, there's no one way of how to do this. All we're trying to do is make informed decisions of how to move forward. And so we're gathering information, but we can talk about this as a discussion item at the next board meeting.
Right. Okay.
If that's okay with the board.
If you can also add for us to get a breakdown of the services that our students needed during these last couple of months as a result of being remote The meals we've been able to offer them. I know we had an equity release funding, where the status of that is as far as, did everybody get money? Did we max out? If we did, are we allocating more funds? When are those available? I know we distributed laptops along with hotspots. Any other services that we provided our students, we can kind of get an update and a debrief on that.
Yeah, we can do that. And one of the things that we're working on too, I think someone asked at one of the board meetings, regards to not only the people who are participating, but also demographics of the students who are receiving the services. So we can provide a breakdown regards to what services were provided and who took advantage of the services, and break it down by gender and also by ethnic group as well. I mean, that's very important, and we provide that at the next board meeting. And we have it as a part of discussion item.
Dr. Curry, is there a place where we are also documenting additional needs that students are identifying and also disaggregating those needs requests?
The staff, we don't have a formalized process in regards to it, but we can talk about that at the next board meeting.
Thank you.
See no further discussion. We are moving on to item number 10, Board of Trustees meeting minutes from March 19, 2020. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
So it's been moved by Dr. Little and seconded by Trustee Ramos. Do we have any discussion? Seeing no discussion, Ms. Paula?
Trustee Calhoun,
Aye.
Dr. LeBlanc.
Aye.
Trustee Ramos,
Aye.
Dr. Little,
Aye.
Trustee Lopez.
Aye.
Thank you.
Moving on to item number 11 for presentations. Our first one, we have our 2020-2021 Compton Community College District tentative budget. Dr. Curry.
So I would like to offer the opportunity to Stephen Kabui, who is the Vice President of Administrative Services, who will provide the budget presentation for tonight's meeting. Mr. Kabui.
Thank you, Dr. Curry, and good afternoon, everyone. In the next few minutes, I'll be presenting the tentative budget for 2020-21. The tentative budget will include assumptions, budget summaries, and our next steps. Budget assumptions. We estimate to operate with a general fund at $37.4 billion. That is after considering all the deductions from the state budget deficits. This one will be based on 5980 FTEs based on 1381 section offerings. There is no COLA in this budget. They may revised by the governor. He removed the COLA, which was there in his January budget proposal, which was 2.29%. Also, the employer's contribution to the retirement system, the governor helped by paying off the liabilities. For past classified employees, it has been reduced from 22.8% to 20.7%. And for certificated teachers, it's been reduced from 18.4% to 16.5%. So this reduction helps us to balance our budget. The next budget assumptions is on faculty positions. We're going to hire 6 faculty positions, the first one being UPS Care, Guided Pathway Counselor. The next one is HVAC faculty member, 3 nursing positions, and 1 special resource guided pathway counselor. The next major assumption is 7 classified positions. This includes 5 police officers, Associate Dean of Nursing, and Distant Education Manager. Those 2 positions will be from Restricted General Fund. Our next assumption is we have one-time $150,000 budget and augmentation. Out of that, $50,000 will be for enrollment management. Then another $100,000 will be for general enhancements. We also assumed we're gonna pay $1.1 million for a line of credit. Then we have also set aside $250,000 for our OPEB, other post-employment benefits contribution, and another $200,000 for our pension stabilization fund. Then we have $3.75 million for our reserves. Out of that, $3 million will go to our Enterprise Resource Center. $400,000 will be for our personnel commission, and $350,000 will be for our Future Fire Academy. Then we're gonna make a one-time transfer of $400,000 from workers' comp to property and liability insurance. Okay, let's go now to the summary of the budget. We're gonna start with the unrestricted general fund. We estimate we're gonna begin in July 1st with $14.8 million. The revenues from the state will be $30.3 million. Local revenue sources will be $7.1 million. Out of that, we're gonna pay academic salaries of $13.7, classified for $8.3 million, benefits $9.3 million, supplies $677,000, contracts and operation $5 million, capital outlay $236,000, other outgo, which is primary students, $1.2 million. So on overall, we gonna go short of $1.2 million. So we bring the ending fund balance at 13.6. And because of the state reduction, we had to do a lot of reduction in our budget to balance it up. And one of the biggest items which helped us was the reduction in pension contribution by the state. Next slide. Our restricted general fund, we estimate we're gonna begin the year with $2.4 million. Out of those, then revenues we're gonna receive from the federal government through grants and other contracts will be for $2.8 million. State programs will be $4.8 million, and other local revenues of 1.5. Total revenues, $14.9 million. Academic salaries will be $2.2 million, classified $2.6 million, total benefits 1.9, supplies 1.3, contracts and other operating expenses $1.7 million, capital outlay $953,000, and other outgoes, which are primary students, $1.9 million. So the change in fund balance would be 1.9, and we're gonna end the balance, ending fund balance at $4.3 million. So our next major fund is a recovery fund. We're gonna begin in July with $5.3 million. We expect to receive a revenue from the state of 1.3. Then our expenditures will be for classified 472,000, benefits 220,000, contracts $1.9 million, capital outlay equipment $700,000. Then the change in fund balance is a negative of $2 million, bringing an ending balance of $3.3 million. Next slide. The other major fund is our bond funds. We have Measure C, Measure CC. So Measure C, Series A, we're gonna begin the fund with $13.36 million. We expect local revenue of 390,000, primary interest by the county. Then we estimate to pay out based on construction $22.2 million. Change in fund balance 21 million, bring the ending balance of 14.3 million. Series D, measure CC, we're gonna begin the year with slightly over 2 million. Revenue from interest, 31 million. We're gonna pay contract for construction, 620,000. We'll bring a deficit of 589,000 and ending fund balance of $1.4 million. Measure CC, Series E, we're gonna begin the fund with $6 million. We estimate revenue of 100,000, interest. We expect to pay 6.1 million. The change in fund balance is 6 million. Then the ending balance is 85,000. For financial aid, this is primarily for our students. The beginning balance will be 495,000. We're gonna receive $11 million from the federal government. State grant will be 1.6, and local revenues will be 16,000. So total revenues from federal financial aid fund is 12.9 million. Out of that, it's all for students. This account is pass through. So we're gonna pay $12.6 million to the students. And we'll bring an ending fund balance of $811. So our next step, after presenting this budget to you today, there are some other steps which we're gonna focus on to close the books. And primarily is based on the state funding. The first one being Student Equity and Achievement Program is a huge program. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna allocate all the costs to make sure that the program is closed properly, and any saving we can be generated from the general fund, we make sure we achieve that. Then we also have a strong workforce programs. There are two buckets of funds. We have the local and the regional. We don't lose dollars on the local fund, which is from the state chancellor's office. But for the local program, if we don't spend it, we lose. And so we're gonna make sure that we don't lose any funds. Everything will be spent out and costs be properly allocated. Also, we have the CT Parkins program. This one also, if we do not spend, we lose out on funding, is our top priority as well. We make sure that all the costs are allocated to make sure that we don't miss out on anything. Then our Children's Center, the Child Development Fund, this fund has a deficit, is something common across all the community colleges. The Children's Center is being supplemented by the general fund, but we're gonna make sure that all the costs have been properly allocated and all the contract with the State Department of Ed, they have been submitted and for reimbursement. The next major item we're gonna look into is the construction claim reimbursement to the Chancellor's office for instruction building number 1 and 2. So these programs are funded by the state and part of the local funding. So we pay upfront, then the Chancellor's office refund us. So we're gonna make sure that that process is also taken care of. So in the month of June, we're gonna finalize closing the books, and we're also waiting for the state. The state will be finalizing their budget. So any new information which will be forthcoming will be presented to this board again in September. And between July and August, we'll be closing the books and also having the annual 311 report, the financial report, which is tied to our general ledger and is audited and submitted to the chancellor's office. And it has to tie again to the budget. Then we're going to update our final budget assumptions, which again will be presented to this board. Then again in September, as required by the law, we present the adopted budget for 2020-2021 fiscal year. Slide. So, and that concludes my presentation. So the budget is based on what the governor presented and all the prior year's numbers and what we have in our book. So if there's any question, I'll be glad to answer.
Sure. Let me start with Trustee Calhoun. Do you have any questions?
Yes. Can you go back to slide number 7, please? Seven. The transfers at the bottom where it say workers' compensation fund to the property and liability fund, we still will be good with the workers' comp fund?
Steve, let me jump in on that question. I'm sorry. The reason I'm jumping on this question is the history of this. In our workers' comp fund, at the March board meeting, the board approved, we had excess money in our workers' comp fund. So we used $500,000 to help support COVID-19 related expenses and property liability. And then we also used approximately $3 million for the transfer to OPEB. The reason why we're looking at this is a budget savings, but we're still overfunded by a couple $100,000. And so the goal was to utilize the money for workers' comp. Our liability for the property liability based off of the statewide association of California community colleges is about $315,000. So we kind of overfunded a little bit just to be safe, but our total liability is $315,000. So this saves our general fund. This is a one-time move. So next year we have to do it. We have to go back to use general fund. But this year with the budget crisis that we're in, we were able to do that. But the history of it goes back to the March board agenda in regards to workers' comp fund, and we had excess dollars in that fund.
All right. Can you go to slide number 10? What did you say was negative? I was trying to.
Okay, so the change, okay. I was saying the change in fund balance.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay, I got it. And then on slide 13, I think I finally understood. You said there was no, okay, slide 10 was negative, slide 13, page 13 was a deficit, but something you said made up for it. I'm sorry. Did you say there was a deficit on this slide right here? Is this 13? Yeah, it's 13. Oh,
Yes.
okay. The child development.
Yes, on the children's center, what I said is common for all the community colleges to have the deficit because this, for most part, it is supported by the general fund. It cannot operate on its own. So we get contract with the California Department of Ed, but it still doesn't fully support all the expenses. So the general fund comes in to support because it's an important operation. Our students take their children there.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Those are my questions.
All right, moving on. Does Dr. LeBlanc, do you have any discussion, questions or discussion?
No, I do not. Thank you.
Trustee Ramos?
Good presentation.
Nope.
And Dr. Little?
No questions. Thank you.
I have one more. I'm sorry.
Trustee Calhoun?
No, really. You know what? Never mind. Dr. Curry's going to tell me.
Oh.
No, I remember I asked him about the COVID-19 and the budget, because we don't know yet. We probably won't know till August or right at the end of the budget how much it's going to cost us for whatever we have to use out of our budget for the COVID-19 and the stuff that we have to do around the college. So disregard that. I remember, it clicked in, Dr. Curry.
Thank
Thank you.
you
Thank
so
you.
much on your presentation.
Thank you.
was
Great
good.
presentation.
It was very good.
Moving on to item 11.02, Compton College implementation of Assembly Bill 705.
So,
Material assessment.
so we have today for the meeting providing the presentation is Dr. Rebecca Blonstein, who is the Dean of Student Success. And the floor is yours, Dr. Blonstein.
All right, good evening, Board of Trustees. It's my pleasure to serve as the Dean of Student Success for Compton College and to give this presentation tonight on the implementation of AB 705 update, which is our plans for summer and fall of 2020. So starting with our table of contents, in this presentation, I'll go over 5 key summer and fall 2020 implementations, which are related to AB 705. I'll start with our co-teaching pilot. Next, go on to our English low-capped enrollment pilot. I'm going to discuss the community of practice, the CRM Advise Early Alert System, and our virtual summer bridge program. And I'll conclude the presentation with our next steps. So the co-teaching model is a pilot program of English and math classes, which will be taught using the co-teaching model for fall of 2020. In this model, we will have 2 full-time professors who will be equally responsible for creating, teaching, and assessing the class. Each co-teaching team will be responsible to meet weekly outside of class time, in addition to attending community of practice meetings. So the benefits of team teaching it will be beneficial for both instructors and students. So for our instructors, we're hoping for pedagogical improvements, building collegiality and respect amongst their colleagues, and relearning one's own discipline through a learner's eyes. In terms of the benefits for our students, there'll be more student-teacher interaction with a lower student-teacher ratio, a greater interest in the class because of the differences in teaching styles by having 2 teachers in the classroom, and the instructor's novelty. And lastly, an increased engagement with the students and of course, retention. So using the co-teaching model, there'll be 4 sections of our English 101 course and 4 sections of our transfer level statistics math 150 course, which will be piloted in fall of 2020. And again, all instructors who are teaching these pilot courses have agreed to participate in the community practice meetings. So in addition to the co-teaching model, there will be a pilot of 4 English 101 courses that will be taught at a capped enrollment of 23 versus the normal cap of 30 for our English 101 courses. So qualitative and quantitative data demonstrates that instructors who attend to the effective domain of their classroom and students have a higher success rate. So we're trying to create these high-touch classrooms, which takes intentionality, effort, and additional work that we feel can be most effectively accomplished with a lower class size. So a community practice, talking about community practice, this is defined as a group of people who are committed to sharing knowledge and improving their effectiveness through regular and purposeful meetings. The community of practice at Compton College will start in the summer of 2020 with structured meetings for our math and English faculty, and it's going to continue with bi-weekly meetings during the 2020-2021 academic year. And this is to standardize syllabi to ensure student-centered and equity-minded design, assess and share classroom activities, assess student work, share best practices and failures, and of course, use the data from institutional effectiveness and the research planning group in order to drive the dialogues within the community of practice. So next I'm going to talk about our CRM Advise Early Alert System. And this system allows faculty to identify students who are in need of intervention. And this was made available to all of our faculty as of spring 2020 to use as a tool to help support student success. And in the spring of 2020, English and math faculty generated a total of 578 alerts, which accounted for 1/3 of all total alerts that were submitted. And this is the breakdown of math and English participation based on full-time and part-time status. So for our English faculty, 9 out of 11 of our full-time English faculty, 81% actually submitted early alerts for students, and 75% of our adjunct faculty who taught this spring submitted alerts within English. And for math, over 50% of our full-time math faculty, 54%, they submitted early alerts, and 42% of adjunct faculty submitted alerts for spring. So moving forward into our summer bridge program. So this summer, we will have a virtual summer bridge that will take place July 27th through August 6th, 2020 for all incoming Oliver W. Connor College Promise students. And this is to provide English and math preparation workshops developed and led by faculty, fundamental preparation for the transfer level English and math that the students will be taking during their first year. And it's to expose our students to the concept and rigor in a low-risk, non-credit workshop format. So lastly, our next steps are to continue to work with institutional effectiveness to include faculty dialogues on the analysis of student outcomes from 2019-2020, to use the data from the Research and Planning Group Comprehensive Report and Institutional Effectiveness as discussion points within the community of practice, to continue professional development opportunities for our faculty. And lastly, the institutional effectiveness will conduct a qualitative faculty focus groups to assess the community of practice and the co-teaching processes, as well as student success outcome analysis to evaluate these pilot programs in spring of 2021. Questions? Are there any questions?
And so I'll open it up with Trustee Calhoun. Do you have? I have no questions. Dr. LeBlanc?
No, I do not. Thank you. Good
Trustee
presentation.
Ramos?
No, thank you for the presentation.
Dr. Little?
No, thank you for the presentation.
Thank you, appreciate it. All right, moving, do you have something to add, Dr. Curry?
No, I have nothing to add.
All right, moving on to item number 11.03, Compton College Strong Workforce Program.
So tonight we have Lionel Wiggins, who's providing an update on the Strong Workforce Program at Compton College. He's going to talk about the budget reductions a little bit. We're still trying to operationalize what the reduction looks like for the campus, but in the budget books talks about we have a significant amount of carry forward, which will make us fine for the first year, but long term, we have to really look at how we're using our strong workforce dollars. So I'd like to hand over to Lionel Wiggins, the Director of Adult Education and Workforce Development.
Thank you, Dr. Curry, and thank you for the opportunity to share, members of the Board of Trustees. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about what we're doing to try and stay on target with the design of our activities within workforce development. Strong workforce being the funding that allows us to build efforts around career preparation. And for us, that means we need to look at our partners through resource development to prepare our students for their eventual careers. And we're going to do that through looking at the outcomes related to strong workforce and the building of a work experience education program here at the college, whereby the board, I think, recently approved our cooperative work experience education program that was submitted to the Chancellor's office. Next slide, please. So the mission of Compton College Workforce Development is to build an integrated career education community by providing quality service and dynamic programs. We emphasize the cultivation of human potential and utilize precise tools for informed decision-making that emphasizes lifelong learning in industries that magnify economic competitiveness. And therefore, we're trying to utilize career preparation and carrying through the onboarding process to help students become successful. In strong workforce, that involves, if you look at that little arrow, this idea of local planning, collaborative regional planning, and then we're through the Center of Excellence, we're looking at demand and supply labor market data to help us figure out what programs we should be developing based on our regional labor market to help our students find the opportunities where they can find a living wage. So at home on our campus, that involves aligning our CTE courses and programs, pathways with the needs of those regional economies, being sure that we're not duplicating programs or courses, and that we're offering them in the sequence whereby the students need them. Next slide, please. So one of the hallmarks of the Strong Workforce Program that really built out of the Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act, that's a federal act that is implemented through our states in our country, through our state workforce plans. In California, we're mandated to work with different regional advisories, the workforce development boards, our California Adult Education Program, and other civic labor entities that are seeking to help rise the standard of living of individuals in our region. Here in our area, Dr. Curry has us as a part of the All-In Network, Advancing Linked Learning Innovation Network, where there are about 5 community colleges, about 5 or 6 secondary institutions, as well as the Pacific Gateway, Southeast LA County, and South Bay Workforce Development Boards, looking to align educational opportunities for students in connection with qualified workforce opportunities. So they're bringing employers to the table, and we're sharing resources to get the biggest bang for our buck. And employers don't feel like they're duplicating their services amongst all of us. So there's a shared sort of cohesion of us working together. So through this concept of engaging stakeholders, you have the reality that we have a variety of resources at our disposal. If we were but to come together and take advantage of each other's uniqueness and the resources that we each hold. This is a picture of all of the partners and industry representatives that we have access to through our own resource development here at the college. And we partnered with them. They have extended contracts to us whereby we would fulfill bringing their students on board, their learners on board, their clients. We train and educate them, and we receive funding here at the college to do so in supplemental contracts, et cetera. So this is a major part of the input that, say, goes into the equation of building a strong workforce. Next slide, please. And so then if you were to look at the activities that students engage in, you want them to be able to establish work readiness, feel a sense of competence through gaining industry relevant certifications. They access college resources. They have a chance to engage in internships, job placement, understand finances, not just through financial aid, but attending financial management workshops, ensuring that they're not getting into debt with student loans, or at least they understand how it impacts them, and coming together as a region to put together viable employment fairs and resource fairs for students. These are key components of workforce preparation. Much in the same way, student supports, ensuring that more nuanced information is getting to people so that they can make informed decisions about their future, and they don't have limited information as to the best opportunities before them. On campus, that involves us developing innovative study spaces, and such as strong workforce funding went towards the development of what we're calling our innovation hubs, our various centers around campus, our tech centers, our tutorial locations will be receiving what are called Z-Space 3D computers, where our students can literally tap an item on the screen, bring a heart out into the visible area and see the breakdown of the heart or a vein so that they can better understand and have study access. We're trying to bring innovative technical opportunities and understanding to our students to enhance their learning. And so what that looks like in the broader sense of these various activities with all of these projects is that over the short term, long term, and ultimately within the next 10 years of an individual's life, we want them to experience this maturation whereby you're starting by maybe completing 9 or more CTE units, which is a pay point on our student funding formula. You're accessing a living wage path. At least 75% of the students that come through, we want them to have access to this. Then 4 to 6 years of your growth. Maybe you're transferring with that certificate, maybe getting a job on campus at your university where you can at least be able to say, hey, I've shown a wage increase. I see myself progressing. My debt to income ratio is diminishing. And ultimately, we want our students to be able to give back to Compton College. We want to establish this sense of a sort of a cycle of giving and understanding that I have an impact to make in the future workforce. So what that entails is us taking students through a work experience process. Career readiness is the attainment and demonstration of requisite competencies that broadly prepare college graduates for a successful transition into the workplace. We want to be able to identify the exact criteria that are helping our students become leaders and become successful, and we want to hear back from their employers. So through working with institutional effectiveness questionnaires and surveys that help us get to the core of the content we need to know, we want to make sure that students are hitting these criteria. And as we move to the next slide, we will see some of those core areas. If you look at the circles, it highlights different competency areas over the course of a student's time in college. Let's just say being at Compton College, starting with onboarding, work experience, education, onboarding. Then you go through career onboarding of selecting a major when you're high school to your first year. You transition to major onboarding and understanding what it entails, doing research, understanding how much you can earn with programs and degrees and certificates in that area. Moving on to professional onboarding in an actual career area where you're engaging and dialoguing with employers and they can give you feedback. You're going through internships, maybe summer jobs. You have a chance to do some site tours, employer site tours. And ultimately, maybe you get workforce onboarding where you're getting specific career preparation training at a potential employer site. And we're able to engage in a contract where a student can earn college credit while they're learning specifically in a work environment. So these are some of the components that we're trying to bring together to expand the activities that we're implementing through Strong Workforce on our campus. And that being said, one of the things with workforce development is that we understand the cycle of the ups and downs of budgets. And one of the things we want to work to do is help bring more resources in. As you can see, the local Strong Workforce funding supports all of these positions. And therefore, we want to help to ensure that our staffing is secure moving forward. That might mean looking at different grant opportunities and other partnerships so that we can ensure that we're effective in the work that we're doing for our students. 57% cuts currently. Dr. Curry has received a report that sort of shows where we can go from here, even despite the cuts, but we want to ensure that we're being proactive and that we have a plan in place. So thank you for your time. And are there any questions?
Is this
Before I
uploaded
Before I move on to the trustees, Dr. Curry wanted to share some input.
So can you go back 2 slides, please? Slide 12, I'm sorry, the next slide. So I just want to be clear in regards to the budget and where we're at regards to strong workforce. As Steve mentioned, that we're doing analysis of the strong workforce budget. There's a lot of different dominoes that are at the play. And I've said this verbally before, is my whole goal right now with the budget is making sure making sure that we look at keeping our full-time employees. One of these that we're trying to understand, there's a couple different dominoes with regards to the budget. I want to make sure everyone's clear about this. So if you look at the budget for strong workforce, if you look at, we have a couple positions that, for example, the job place specialist and the career education research associate, the way that was set up, the job place specialist and the career pathways coordinator, those 2 positions, those were funded by our regional dollars for strong workforce. So not only was our campus cut, but also the region was cut. So in our last meeting about 2 weeks ago, prior to me being out, I asked a question to our regional director who oversees the Orange County, LA County, what happens with these positions and also potential budget cuts when they have new projects. And so I've not received the answer to that question, but those 2 positions are 100% funded by regional dollars. The local dollars includes the first position, the counselor position, and then also associate dean position, and then the hourly workers for student workers. So we're trying to, and also our research associate for the institutional research department. So for those positions, we budget about, it's like $457,000 a year for those positions. And our budget that we're looking at is about $257,000. However, this year we do have carry forward. So we'll be utilizing some of our carry forward to move forward. But at the same time, we're receiving Perkins dollars this year for the first time. Previous year, we received a certain amount based off the partnership with El Camino College. And so this year we'll be able to utilize some of our Perkins dollars to absorb some of the costs in this year's budget, which will increase our ending balance for the strong workforce. We'll also be able to utilize some of those dollars to help support some of our programs next year. So we do have a plan of where we need to go, but the major issues are, from my perspective, not the local dollars on our campus because of our carry forward. Our goal is to get through the next 2 or 3 years with carry forward. The biggest issue in regard to the job placement specialists and the career pathways coordinator positions, which were funded by the regional dollars. And the regional needs to be able to provide us with insight regards to how they're going to absorb the budget cuts and will these positions continue to be funded with regional dollars. So I want to make sure I clarified that.
All right, I wanted to move to the trustees and see if you got any questions. Trustee Calhoun. Trustee Calhoun, you're on mute.
Can you please go to page 5? I hope that was page 5. 5. Okay, let me see. You disregarded, Dr. Curry just answered it about something else. Can you go to page 7? Page 7. Page 7, the very last one. Ooh, okay, somebody else talking. Okay. I didn't hear you talk about the annual employment fair, whether it was gonna be virtual or you're not having it at all. You did not say anything about that.
Yeah, that's a great question. This particular year, we chose not to offer it. We want, moving forward, we had some discussions with the local America's Job Center, California, Rancho Dominguez, and we're looking to collaborate and maybe do something virtual coming up. But yeah, everyone kind of just put the brakes on a lot of activity, including employers that would have attended. But at the same time, we've seen some of our partners engage in these virtual
Yes.
fairs. So they seem to work, and we want to try it out. We also offer smaller ventures. So we may do a few and test them out and then try to grow it from that dynamic.
Okay. Well, why would you? Never mind. I'll talk to Dr. Curry because I was just on a virtual job fair.
Mm-hmm.
And they left a number for people to call in for their interview. And it was a big one. I wish I had remembered who did it, but I just went on it just to hear how they were doing it. And it was very successful. They had all the employers there, and each one of them was in their own group. And they just called to make the appointment, and they were interviewed right then and there. What? Okay, I'm sorry. Is that me? No.
But Trustee Calhoun, if I could interject here, I think as we this year with regards to COVID-19 and just trying to figure some things out, but I do think we should be able to do something virtually for our students in the fall, regards to employment opportunities, and we can do breakout rooms as well. I think we're just now trying to figure it out more regards to what the capabilities we have with Zoom and also Zoom webinar. But I think we can figure something out for this year to be able to provide something online for our students regards to employment, especially in the fall, because I do anticipate we will have some students who are coming back to school based off unemployment, who will be looking for job opportunities. So we have to figure out a way to be able to provide that service to them virtually. So let us go back to the table and talk about this with the staff of what this will look like for a virtual employment fair and what we can do for employment opportunities virtually throughout the year. And that'd be a follow-up item.
Right. Is that page 9? Page 9. Which did I have about page 9? The second and the third bullet under citizenship 7 to 10 years. It says,
yes, ma'am.
Second bullet says complete Compton College employment questionnaire after occupational transition. I got lost right there.
That's a great question. One of the challenges that most community colleges have is being able to know how their students are doing once they leave us. And what we want to do is have a link where we connect to them and they report back information on how they're doing. Some of them we may be able to reroute back to the college because they're not getting the resources and services that they need, or be able to forward them to the local community career development center down the street at Rancho Dominguez, or the Career Links Career Center over at Compton, the city of Compton. So it's our way of being able to have our own local data instead of just depending on what we get back from things like the CTE outcome survey. It really only takes a snapshot of a small population of students. So we want to see a wider cross-section of our students and how they're doing once they leave and start their first, job or working while they're in school at the university.
Okay, yeah, you already did, in what you just answered, you already did the bullet number 3 about contact workforce development. So you put that all in one, so that's okay. That's all my questions.
Okay, thank you so much. Moving on to Dr. LeBlanc. Do you have any questions?
Mr. Wiggins, first of all, thank you very much for your presentation. It was very informative. Just had a few very general questions. The one I want to know, how many of the community colleges in California are taking advantage of this workforce program? Is this something that every district and every school is taking advantage of, or is it just a few of them? How widely accepted is it so far? That's
All community colleges that have CTE, career technical education programs, were a part of the strong workforce implementation and received local funding and had to participate in a regional endeavor if they wanted the regional funds. You had to, like we have 19 colleges in LA, and we have to come and either submit a proposal or be part of a lead proposal that was already submitted to access funds related to those regional activities.
okay. And then my second question was, you talked about developing partnerships with employers and going out and talking to the employers to find out what needs they have and making sure that those needs are somehow paralleled with what's happening at the college. And I was just wondering how, what is the infrastructure for being able to deliver what the employers are saying that they need for their employees, their future employees, and then comparing that with the curriculum that Compton College offers, because we may have courses that are outdated, but how do we align the needs of employers with the offerings that Compton College currently has?
So Dr. LeBlanc, I want to jump into this question because I think this is a great question as it relates to our partnership and where we're headed as an institution. The key to this conversation, and we had a meeting this past year, is our advisory groups for each of our CTE programs. So we have an advisory group for the college with the employers who come on campus and provide us advice on what they're looking for. Now, the key with that is how do you infuse their recommendations into the curriculum that we provide on our campus? So the key to this is for the board is we do have an advisory committee, and we'll provide a board letter next month to give you an update of what we're doing with our advisory committee, who's on it for each of the programs. But then also provide you with the recommendation from the advisory committee and how we want to implement some of those recommendations in our CTE areas. But I think it's a great question because it's important for the board as it relates to standing forward and the board's role, understand our partnerships, but also how are these partnerships going to be, how are we taking from a conversation to action?
Exactly. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Trustee Ramos, do you have any questions?
Nope. Thank you.
And Dr. Little?
Yes, I just had a couple of questions. So kind of following up on Dr. LeBlanc's question, Dr. Curry, because the curricular piece is impacted also by the faculty expertise and the disciplinary limitations, what is the kind of process? Is it that we go out and we partner, or we at least get information from employers? And is there a time frame where we seek to, let's say, a 2-year turnaround or a 3-year turnaround if we don't currently have a core academic unit around some of these more future-oriented careers? And if not, how are we doing longer-term planning to ensure that we can meet those needs? And on another front, do we have partnerships with, for example, local hiring agreements where we have gone to seek out either construction or new projects that have that 30% or 35% local hire mandate, and that way we can be a center that they know to come to? And my final question is, do we ever partner with either Cal State Dominguez or other four-year universities, especially their business programs, to think about either internships and or bridge programs?
So, and this is, I don't want to philosophize too much tonight, but I think this is a problem that we have in California community colleges, is linking the employer's recommendation to actual action at the community colleges. And I think that's the reason why my response to Dr. LeBlanc, and I jumped in, is I think we have to do a better job on our end regards to how do we utilize our partners, how do we utilize the advice that they provide, and how we show that from those conversations, we're actually showing some curriculum changes on our campus regards to implementing new programs. One of the things that we look at in our Compton 2024 plan was the non-credit piece, and offering non-credit and CTE courses, and that ESL courses as non-credit ESL courses in the vocational technology area. And that's one of these that we hired a full-time instructor to be working on that type of curriculum. But now as we get to with these employers and the new economy, how are we able to link it? And I think that's one of our flaws. And that's one of the things that Mr. Wiggins will be working on this year is making sure that we're linking what's happening in the advisory groups and linking it to our curriculum on our campus. In addition to that, is making sure through our job placement specialists is that we're showing the linkage between the jobs and having partnerships. Yes, we should be having agreements with some of these construction firms with students who are in our program to say you're a part of 30% higher. We should also have agreements with some of these job placement centers regards to our students as well. And that's something that our job placement our staff person should be doing on our campus. So I do think this is one of our weaknesses on our campus. And the reason why it's a weakness is because we've been developing the infrastructure regards to staffing. But as you can see with the state budget, things have changed. But we have to make sure that we keep the infrastructure to be able to move forward because our students will be looking for jobs. And how you connect our students to jobs is critical. But it starts with the advisory committee, and it also starts with having these partnerships where students are guaranteed jobs. Lana, do you want to add anything to that?
Just one thing, and I realized one of the reasons why I want to work on the questionnaire, a lot of our students are in some of those environments, such as working on the new LA Rams Stadium. One of our welding students was at the top of the facility, in a picture showing him working on welding these beams, and Pamela Richardson sent that to us. So really doing a better job of marketing our programs and where our students are in terms of the companies that they're working for. And Dr. Paul Floor, we held our first Perkins advisory meeting about 2 weeks ago. It was virtual. We had about 20 people from various locations, and that went really well. Every year we hold the Career Education Advisory Breakfast, where we bring employers that sit with a program and they help to offer insights toward that program and what they're doing in their particular job areas that are innovative and how it's changing in the field. So they're getting feedback and information, but you're right, Dr. Curry, we do need to improve on that area.
And if I just may add, especially now with COVID and so many people out of work or pivoting and many small businesses impacted, I think it's an ideal time to offer workforce development, even if it's expanding current skill sets or knowledge. And so I think the timing is excellent, and we have to be a very viable local option for those professionals who are looking to enhance. And so any way in which we can continue not only to market and brand our services, but also to determine which ones are most needed, like nursing, and really push those programs.
And if I could make one last statement, Dr. Curry, one of our regional projects is the Los Angeles Strategic Innovation Marketing Project. We are connected with 19 colleges. If you go to ccla.com, you can see where advertisement in Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, various news articles online, they have a advertisement image, and it's basically trying to promote the community colleges in LA. And then you tell them what program you're interested in, and it routes you to our campus where our career pathway specialist receives the call or gets an email, and they follow up with the potential person, the perspective that's interested in our programs at the college. So this is something new that came through Strong Workforce, and we're pretty excited about it. It's really, so far, it's starting to connect a lot of individuals with the college.
Nice.
And so I think it was briefly touched upon this, but during those last couple of weeks, I know there were hiring for those that needed remote. And how did our workforce adapt our training program to ensure that we're meeting that need? How did we adjust to say these are programs how we can offer our students to kind of be in a pipeline?
It was a bit challenging for us, I think, primarily because many of our CTE programs are used to being hands-on, face-to-face. So the faculty, many of them, they transition their programs to a virtual instruction, but there's still some things that they're working out. They have some online resources that allow them to demonstrate and have a more practical instruction approach. But I think they're kind of working out the kinks still. So we haven't fully moved into that area of building contracts outside of, we do have the contract with the Los Angeles County of Education, and they work with the local DPSS office, Department of Public Social Services. So we do have students coming this summer looking at child development programs. Normally we contract with them in machine tool technology, welding, and heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, normally during the fall and spring. And we're just ending a contract. I'm submitting an invoice for payment from them for students that recently came through the program.
And then that's just keeping something in the forefront, given that a lot of it is going to remote and going, just like our campus, to go tech friendly, what that really would look like for our workforce. I did want to go back into marketing. You covered a little bit about that. I don't know if you can share with Dr. Curry so he could forward to the board exactly what type of marketing tools are being advertised so that our students are taking advantage of this program. I know you listed a couple of them, but most definitely just getting an idea that, you know, it is being put out there. We're always talking in our board meetings of how we want to ensure that our students really know about different programs and services that they're able to access, and making sure that they are getting this information. And so if they only were able to hear about a program when they were on campus, how did we pivot and transition to meet them to be actually aware of what's going on, given that we are all remote?
I will say, Dr. Curry commissioned Heather Parnock to assist us in workforce. We've extended $50,000 and she's helping us work on building a marketing plan to do just what you mentioned, Trustee Lopez. And that's something that we're in the works with right now.
And then lastly, I noticed one of the slides discussed funding, and with the 50% cuts, you're still trying to keep everything. I was under the governor mentioned something about the cutting of workforce, especially if funding wasn't used to be returned. How much of our workforce funding did we use this past year?
So based off the carry forward, we should have about $1.4 million carry forward. And so there's a timeline in regards to spending those dollars, and we can provide more information to the board on that. So the major issues that I have with the budget has to do with the job placement specialist and also the career pathways coordinator, which are regional dollars. And I don't know how much money they have for carry forward in regards to those projects. But the carry forward dollars we have are based off of prior year's planning, and so those dollars are still available to the district. And so the question will be about those two positions that are not part of our local dollars.
Got it. That was it on my part. Thank you very much for the presentation.
Thank you.
Moving on to item number 12, reports from representatives and employee organizations.
Academic Senate, you have it.
The first one, we have Amber Gillis. I believe I've seen her earlier.
Yes, hi, I'm here. So, respected members of the Board of Trustees, although I was tending to come here tonight to share a year-end report for Academic Senate, I've decided instead to offer my last report as the Compton College Academic Senate President to instead both express my gratitude for the ongoing working relationship between Compton Community College District and the Compton College Academic Senate, as well as to propose to everyone here tonight a respectful call to action. Less than a week ago, Compton College succeeded in achieving a historic milestone by hosting commencement exercises and confirming the degrees and certificates for our students for the first time since 2006. And as a college, we celebrate with our community the successes and achievements of our newly minted academics and see them on to achieve their next academic milestone. Having been one of the many that worked on the accreditation efforts here at Compton College, and as an English professor, I could not be more proud of this accomplishment. However, none of these accomplishments would have been possible without the collective passion and without action. Over the last few weeks, the word ally has made its way back into the headlines. And while I understand that allyship is important, I'm deeply troubled by how easily this word is being thrown around social media as if it's a cool new trend ripe for Instagram and Facebook feeds. To be clear tonight, I am not dismissing the hearts of those that call themselves allies. And I know that to many here and around us, being an ally is not a trend, and that their approach to the systematic oppression of Black and African Americans comes with the intent to support them. In 2016, writer and activist Roxane Gay said, quote, "The problem with allyship is that good intentions are not enough. Allyship offers a safe haven from harsh realities and the dirty work of creating change. It offers a comfortable stance that can be terribly unproductive. Black people do not need allies," she says. "We need people to stand up and take on the problems born of oppression as their own, without remove and without distance." Now, as a woman of light skin privilege, I have a responsibility to both my Black and African American students, as well as a responsibility to my Black and African American colleagues here at Compton College. I cannot call myself an ally without taking consistent action. I must work every day to create equitable spaces and to see that my own individual actions communicate words of support, celebrate the successes of, upstand for, give credit to, amplify the ideas of, advocate for, include, and to recognize the scholarship of my Black and African American students and colleagues. But I must also acknowledge that I'm not always sure how to do this because I need resources, I need education, and I need a safe place to discuss my limitations and my failures in order to become an effective ally. With all of this said, I thank the Compton Community College District Board of Trustees for communicating their stance and commitment to our Black and African American students through tonight's upcoming resolution. And I respectfully call upon this board and our college to convene a new institutional standing committee comprised of administrators, staff, faculty, students, and community leaders, whose primary focus is to move Compton College from the silos of good intention to a place of actionable advocacy through the development and delivery of resources, educational materials, and community partnerships that support Black and African American student success. You might be asking, why not just create a task force to accomplish this? And it's a valid question. However, in my respectful opinion, I believe that Compton College can do better than an ad hoc task force. An institutional standing committee demonstrates to our community and to other California community colleges our commitment to advocacy for Black and African American students and employees. Our mission statement claims that Compton College provides solutions to challenges, and I can think of no better place to start providing solutions for our students and our employees through the creation of a new institutional standing committee dedicated to developing true allyship for persons of color. In closing, I would like to thank you for your time and consideration on this matter tonight. I look forward to continuing this conversation to action, and I look forward to supporting Compton College Academic Senate's effort as a resource and ex officio member. Thank you very much.
Okay, moving on to 12.02, we have
Question
Can we,
your presentation.
for Amber.
Okay, go for it.
Are you leaving, Amber?
This is my last, I'm not leaving the college. I have lots of work to do. I'm still serving as accreditation faculty coordinator, and my heart bleeds for accreditation. And I did tell Ms. Sharif a year and a half ago that as long as I am at Compton College, accreditation and keeping the doors open and providing educational services to our students will be my utmost priority. But I am leaving in my role as Academic Senate President. So starting July 1st, we have Dr. Minadora Moldovianu, who will be taking over as the role of the Academic Senate President.
Okay, well, thank you for a job well done.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
I look forward to your work, and thank you for what you just said. Very enlightening, very good, and very passionate. Thank you so much.
I too have a comment.
Thank you.
Please.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, let me acknowledge Dr. Little too,
Oh,
because I acknowledge
excuse me.
Trustee Calhoun.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Amber. I too wanted to thank you for your service as the outgoing president of the Academic Senate. I think it's imperative that we always remain a community and know that this is a shared goal for all of our students. And I truly appreciate your statement as the current president of the Academic Senate in terms of our foci around all of our students, but especially looking at the data that indicates that there are certain populations that are not achieving at the same rate that we would want. And I appreciate your thoughtfulness and your public statement.
Thank you very much.
Moving on to item 12.02, certified employees report. I don't know if I saw anyone join us for that report.
I don't know if Holly's on the line, so I don't know.
All right, I'll move on to 12.03, classified employees report. Do we have anyone joining us for that report?
I did talk to Matt. He says we listened to the meeting, but he had no report.
And then I'll move on to 12.04, ASB. Do we have Nathan on?
Hi, yes.
Hi, Nathan, go on.
Hi, good evening. Number one, ASB has been working with Dr. Jimenez from the counseling department on something called a program mapper. We've been meeting with him to answer his questions and to program mapper is like a new tool for incoming Compton College students. He was asking for help on that. We've been working with him on that. And then number two, this is also my last meeting as student body president. I graduated this year, and so this will be my last time talking to everyone on the board. I just want to thank you for being great role models for me in terms of leadership. I haven't really said a whole lot, but I've been observing, and it's been really cool just being able to see what a career in education might be like. Seeing how everyone how you like just observing everything. It's been really a big experience for me in terms of growth. I also want to thank the trustees and Dr. Curry for their leadership during COVID-19. And sincerely, as a student of Compton College, I appreciate y'all's leadership from the bottom of my heart. I've taken advantage of some of the resources you guys have provided us. And I've talked to other students in ASB that have taken advantage of the resources that the school has provided, and it's been a positive response. So we appreciate y'all a lot for everything you guys are doing for us, and please keep up the good work. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for your presentation. Dr. Curry, I believe there was, or actually Nathan, I don't know if you can talk about who's your successor or your student trustee elections that were recently taking place.
Yes, ma'am. I don't know. There was elections towards the end of May. I don't know the results of the election.
I will give out my goals in my report. I'll give out the election results.
What?
I said in my report, I will give out the election results.
Okay.
I believe Trustee Calhoun, you have your hand up.
Yes, Nathan, I want to thank you so much for, I just want to congratulate you on your graduation. I want to thank you for the work that you've done. I'm glad that the board and the college has inspired you. I'm glad that you and Amber both use the availability, the funds and what programs that we had. at Compton College, and I just thank you so much. Where are you going? Nathan, where are you going? You going to another college?
Yes, ma'am. I'm transferring to UC Riverside.
Okay. All right, congratulations.
Thank you.
Amber, did I ask you that? Thank you.
Okay, moving on. Thank you so much, Nathan. We appreciate your time as ASB president and congratulations on your graduation. Moving on to item 13, consent agenda item. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Dr. LeBlanc and seconded by Trustee Calhoun. Do we have any discussion? I will start with Trustee Calhoun.
On items that I want to discuss or pull?
Correct, for consent agenda.
All right, first of all,
which ones we want to pull?
Okay. You have a list, Sonia, of the questions that I asked Dr. Curry and the answers that he gave?
No, but if those are the ones you want to go over, just give me the numbers on the items and I'll make a note of it.
All right.
I sent it out to the board members this afternoon.
Yes, we have them. It was sent out.
My question to Trustee Calhoun is she's asking to go over it in this meeting. She needs to give me numbers.
Okay. 1309, 1315, 1323, 1325, 1326, 1333, and 1334.
All right, Trustee Dr. LeBlanc, do you have any items that you want to discuss?
No.
Trustee Ramos?
I just have a question on purchase orders. I think that's 1319. That's it.
1319. And Dr. Little, do you have any items?
Yeah, I couldn't remember if 1316, but also a couple that Trustee Calhoun already named. And so I'll just jump in when we have that opportunity. And then 1318.
Right,
so 16 and 18.
I will start off with 13.09. If we can open that tab for the shower tabs. Okay, Trustee Calhoun, your question?
Dr. Curry has the answers right there. That's why we sent it.
If you can ask your question and then he'll be able to respond so that the audience can hear, if you don't mind.
Okay. 1309, I am very concerned, the last bullet point. What if a student has paid their fees and is not in good standing? Are you going to deny that student the ability to let them take a shower? And what do you mean in good standing?
So as my response to Trustee Calhoun this morning was that in the ministerial regulation, we revised and talk about what good standing means. So the good standing has to do with this code of conduct for the institution and being good standing. So we're going to change the ministerial regulation to talk about good standing.
All right, the next one that we have would be 13.15.
It was about nepotism. I do
Oh,
go ahead.
So Trustee Calhoun had questions in regards to nepotism. It was more so of examples of a relative working in a different, several relatives working in one department. And so the concern was if someone who is not a relative sees favoritism going on, what can they do? And I mentioned to Trustee Calhoun about the whistleblower board policy and also ministerial regulation, that they could be able to follow that for their protection. But then also too, if there's a relationship between an employee and the supervisor in regards to a family relationship, they should not be reported to that supervisor. So she gave me a couple examples of her concern and I answered those questions.
Did you have any further follow-up, Trustee Calhoun?
No.
All right, so we're moving on to 13.16. Dr. Little?
Yes, I just had a question about future activities and how we can be made aware possibly before. And then also, do we have focused or targeted outreach for Black students at the high school and then at the community college level that will be part of the resolution?
So this resolution is basically what happened with this one. This was the resolution that's been forwarded from the Community College League of California that the trustee board and also the CEO board approved regards to Black student success. Regards to our campus, that's something that we could talk about regards to targeted outreach, but the issue with that goes right to Prop 209 and also AC5. How do you do that type of work under the guidance of without having affirmative action? And so one of the things that we try to do is try to be very targeted with our recruitment efforts about Compton College. As we move forward and see what outcomes happen in November, that could change some of our strategies.
Okay, because I know that there's legislation right now that passed in the state Senate, I believe, around putting Prop 209 back on. But in the meantime, with the data that we see, absent of targeted efforts, I think we need to at least maybe have a committee or a task force that can identify strategic outreach and to set some expected outcomes, metrics, and timeline to at least have a goal. I don't know if that's still in the purview of Prop 209, but I would like us to at least begin engaging in conversation.
So I think what's important is how you operationalize this resolution and what we do on our campus. I think that the goal for today is approve the resolution, and then we come back and talk about how we operationalize some of the activity, how we operationalize the recommendations, and then also what we'll be doing on our campus relates to implementing of the resolution. And so we come back next month with provide an update on that.
So we cannot have targets in the resolution.
I'm not saying we cannot have targets. What I'm saying is that the issue has to do with Prop 209 and having targeted outreach as it relates to affirmative action. However, with student equity and achievement, one of our target groups is African American students. So if you look at our enrollment management plan, it talks about activities for African American students. It talks about, and also we talk about in our student equity and achievement plan. But what I'm saying is that we come back to provide the board with, based off our plans, what we're currently doing, and also with recommendations, but try to utilize that as operationalizing what the resolution is asking for.
Okay, thank you.
Moving on to 13.18, Dr. Little.
Yes, I just had a question. I know it says it's a 2-year review of the CTE, and I'm just wondering, are there any caveats as technology is changing and as we see again with COVID, the need to pivot more frequently? Is there any clause that might say every 2 years unless warranted, you know, to revisit in a shorter period of time? Because 2 years, a lot can happen.
That 2 years is a part of the cycle, but there has been times when curriculum has been changed in a less than 2 year period. It just goes through our curriculum process.
Okay, so it doesn't preclude it, but
No.
it's just saying that this is a general.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Moving on to 13.19, Trustee Ramos.
My question is about, it's under the general fund. It's the 149,000 for Long Beach Unified School District. What is that for?
So as a board recall, we actually had a board item on this last summer in regards to our partnership with the California Academy for Math and Science. We offer courses through Project Lead the Way on our campus, on their site through an instructional service agreement. So that's the reimbursement that we pay them for their faculty teaching our courses. And so under the contract, it had the amount that we pay them, and that was the PO to pay them for this past fiscal year.
Okay, thank you.
All right, moving on to for the remainder of your items, Trustee Cajon, just so that I know, do you want me to defer to Dr. Curry to ask and respond to your question, or do you want to ask and he will respond?
I think it would go more faster if you would let Dr. Curry do it, because he does have the answers right there. I think it'll go a lot faster. You could just call the numbers and Dr. Curry will say both.
Got it. And then Dr. Little, you'll let me know which ones you have questions in case the questions
Yes.
are not answered. We will go on to 13.23. Dr. Curry.
So Trustee Calhoun had a question in regards to the contract with Clifford, and make sure that we're asking diversity questions as it relates to that. And I told her that we will follow back up to make sure that we include some diversity questions.
Moving on to, do you have a question on that one? Nope. All right, moving on to 13.25.
Question as well was regards to the background checks and the polygraph. Trustee Calhoun asked about the diversity questions. And this ties into the resolution that we have on the board and work the board has been looking at regards to diversity.
All right, we're moving on to item 13.26.
Oh, 13.26, Trustee Calhoun had a question, and we're following back up with staff regards to our contracts for the clinicals. So this is a contract with St. Francis, and we want to make sure that we have a contract with Martin Luther King Hospital. So we're following back up with our nursing department in regards to that.
I had a quick question, Dr. Curry. I don't know how far back our institutional documentation, but actually when I attended Compton College through Compton High School, we had a direct partnership with King Hospital. And I'm just wondering if there are any templates and or structures that still exist, because I think it went very effectively. So I'm just wondering, do we have any institutional memory left from those times?
No, I don't know about the institutional memory in regards to, but what I do know is that we, at the previous board meeting, the board asked about different contracts for clinicals, and then we directed the staff to follow back up, especially about Martin Luther King Hospital. And so I just need to follow back up in regards to it. I don't think it's an issue, but I just want to make sure that we follow back up to have clinicals located there. But just to note, St. Francis is a part of our district as well, but we want to make sure that we provide as many clinical opportunities within our district. And the one area we don't have right now, I don't recall, is Martin Luther King Hospital. And that's the one I need to follow back up on based off the questions and then also tonight's conversation.
Moving on to item 13.33, Human Resources, Compton Community College, Equal Employment Opportunity.
13.23.
13.33.
So Trustee Calhoun on that one asked the question regards to, she asked a question, I'm sorry,
13.33.
Yeah, so she asked a question regards to the diversity and equity regards to our application interview process. As I mentioned, we're working on implementing the recommendations from USC Center for Urban Education. The good part about it, if you look at our response to the multiple methods application certification form, we talk about the work from Center for Urban Education and also the Center for the Race and Equity Center at USC. So the good thing about we've been tying in all the work that we're doing is now is just more so the operationalizing.
And I also have a comment as well, Dr. Curry, in terms of, I know that I saw this partnership mentioned in one of the higher ed journals, the messaging around it in the sense of the board and your leadership devising this strategy versus, the deficiency, so to speak. How are we operationalizing it as we move forward in terms of the community understanding this partnership and being engaged in this partnership?
So we, at a previous board meeting, and I have to look at which board meeting it was, but at a previous board meeting, we approved our participation in Alliance. I can't remember which day it was. So one of the things that we're working on now is regards to who will be participating from our campus and who will be involved in that. And we have a meeting scheduled. We're scheduling a meeting with them regards to next steps. I can be able to provide more information before the next board meeting.
Will administration and/or board participation be part of this alliance?
It's the way it's structured is it includes the faculty and also administrators. It's not board related training. It's more so for faculty and also administration and staff. There's certain trainings that are being provided. So let me provide more information to the board regards to the alliance.
Thank you.
I didn't give the number, but 13.22, we asked about the Grubhub. I did see your response. My only follow-up to that is how you mentioned that students do not have to input a credit card information, but how will they be aware that they do, one, not have to add it, and then two, after 90 days, there will be an additional fee?
That's something that we have to communicate. I don't have a response to that question, but I could be able to follow back up regards to the second part of it.
And then the last one is item 13.34.
13.34. Okay, so Trustee Calhoun had a question regards to the curriculum chair position number 9, and then she also had a question regards to number 9, 11, and also 12. And I answered those questions because the faculty are working on a lot of curriculum addendums that we have to submit to the chancellor's office. And so that's why they're working for the summer. So I was able to explain that. And then she also asked a question regards to administrative contracts as relates to transportation. And I was able to respond to that as well.
Great. Do we have any further questions? Seeing none, Ms. Paula?
Okay. Trustee Calhoun,
Aye.
Dr. LeBlanc,
Aye.
Trustee Ramos,
Aye.
Trustee Little,
Aye.
Trustee Lopez.
Aye.
Thank you.
No problem. Moving on to action items, 14.01, the adoption of the 2020-2021 Compton Community College District tentative budget. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Dr. LeBlanc and seconded by Trustee Calhoun. Do we have any discussion? I'm starting with Trustee Calhoun.
1403, 1404.
No, this action items we do individually.
Okay, 1403. Oh, you got to start with 1401. Sorry. No.
Dr. LeBlanc?
Just want to thank Steve for the presentation that he did today on the budget.
Thank you. Trustee Ramos?
Nope. No thanks.
Dr. Little?
No questions. Thank you for the presentation.
All right. Ms. Paula?
Dr. LeBlanc,
Aye.
Dr. Little,
Aye.
Trustee Ramos,
Aye.
Trustee Calhoun,
Aye.
Trustee Lopez.
Aye.
Thank you.
Moving on to item 14.02, Administrative Services Resolution number 06/16/2020D to establish, oh my God, lien limit fiscal year 2020-2021. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Dr. Little and seconded by Dr. LeBlanc. Do we have any discussion? See no discussion, Ms. Paula?
Trustee Ramos,
Aye.
Dr. Little,
Aye.
Dr. LeBlanc,
Aye.
Trustee Calhoun,
Aye.
Trustee Lopez.
Aye.
Thank you.
Moving on to item 14.03, Compton College 2024 Enrollment Management Plan. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Trustee Calhoun and seconded by Dr. Little. Do we have any discussion? I will start off with Trustee Calhoun.
Dr. Curry has the information. He'll do it again.
Dr. Curry.
So Trustee Calhoun had a question regards to Calbright, and I mentioned this in my report last month regards to a partnership with Calbright. This contract will be a MOU provide over about $150,000 to help support our distance education activities, and then also help support the purchase of equipment for our distance education lab. And I feel it's a good contract right now in the current budget for the governor's budget included funding for Calbright. And this is basically one of their obligations. I recommend approval.
Trustee Calhoun.
Dr. Curry, you didn't tell them why I asked that question.
Because there's been a lot of conversation throughout the state regards to defunding of Calbright.
All right. Dr. LeBlanc, do you have any questions?
No, I do not.
Trustee Ramos?
Nope.
Dr. Little?
One quick question and one quick comment. In here, I don't, again, asking for metrics in terms of expected outcomes. Will that be added at a later time, or is this just the theory behind the strategy?
The goal is to see more students. One for us is to have an updated lab, but also support in what we're doing in distance education and seeing more of our students be successful in DE, but also creating a partnership with Calbright to be able to provide for them regards to their programs, more students within our community who are taking those programs and linking into a pathway. And so as we move forward, we'll be talking about some matrix as we move forward with them. But right now it's just a concept paper.
Okay. I'll save the comment for the next one. Thank you.
All right, seeing no further discussion, Ms. Paula?
Trustee Calhoun,
Aye.
Dr. LeBlanc,
Aye.
Dr. Little,
Aye.
Trustee Ramos,
Aye.
Trustee Lopez.
Aye.
Thank you.
Moving on to item 14.04. Memorandum of Understanding between the California Online Community College District, Calbright, and Compton Community College District. Can I get a motion?
Didn't we just do that one?
I thought we just did that one.
We just did. Yeah.
I thought it was,
We just voted on it.
that was me.
That was the one. That's why I was confused with my question, because I thought we were on enrollment management.
I thought, yeah, I just did 14.03 enrollment management. Ms.
You
Paula,
did.
can you correct us?
That was enrollment management that we should have been voting on 1403.
Yes, thank you. So we are in 14.04 right now.
Well, we had a discussion on 1404.
The motion was for 1403.
And the discussion was for 1404.
Right, because I did
Correct.
have a question on 1403 and I thought it was just a mistake being made. And I thought we were going to flip it. That's why I asked about data.
So we will, I still need a motion for 14.04 because we just passed
So
14.
moved.
Thank you.
Second.
It's been moved by Dr. Little and seconded by Trustee Calhoun. Dr. Curry, can you please elaborate on 14.04?
That was a partnership with Calbright. Yeah.
Just did
Yeah.
it.
I just did that one.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay. We
Dr.
already
Little,
had the
you had-
discussion. Let's go for the vote.
You had a comment, Dr. Little, so
She had a comment on the previous one.
1403 on the enrollment management. So if it's closed and I can't comment, then I don't have any more comments.
all right. See no further discussion on 14.04. Ms. Paula, can you call the question?
Trustee Calhoun,
Aye.
Trustee Ramos,
Aye.
Dr. Little,
Aye.
Dr. LeBlanc,
Aye.
Trustee Lopez.
Aye.
Thank you.
Moving on to item 14.05, Compton Community College District Resolution number 0616-2020E, Budget Transfers Augmentation for Fiscal Year 2019-2020. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Trustee Calhoun and seconded by Trustee Ramos. Do we have any discussion? Trustee Calhoun,
No.
Dr. LeBlanc,
No.
Trustee Ramos,
No.
Dr. Little.
No.
Seeing no further discussion, Ms. Paula.
Dr. LeBlanc,
Aye.
Dr. Little,
Aye.
Trustee Ramos,
Aye.
Trustee Calhoun,
Aye.
Trustee Lopez.
Aye.
Thank you.
Moving on to 14.06, Administrative Services, Contracts over 92,500, Achieving the Dream. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
It's been
Second.
moved by Trustee Calhoun Wait, huh?
I think Deborah beat me out and then I'll just second.
It's been moved by by Dr. LeBlanc and seconded by Trustee Calhoun. Do we have any discussion? Trustee Calhoun?
No.
Dr. LeBlanc?
No.
Trustee Ramos?
No.
Dr. Little?
Yes, I just want to know if where we are going to, again, have stated outcomes or desired outcomes for this investment.
So this is not a new contract or new partnership. With this, something we've been working on where the Kresge Foundation provided support for this. The whole goal is regards to teaching and learning. And so we have our first meeting as a cohort, I think it's in July, regards to our participation. The goal is to see our outcomes regards to our students' performance, regards to English and math. And so a lot of it will be professional development for our faculty. And so as we have our first meeting in July, we'll be talking more so about the next steps and also to the outcomes over the next 3 years.
Okay, well, I would definitely like to see some sort of set outcomes. So like what faculty are going to participate, what is going to be their contribution back to the school, what students will be impacted by the faculty chosen, how that decision process is being made, and then what we can expect over the next 2 to 3 years that really will enhance the pedagogy and curricula. Thank you.
All right, no further discussion. Ms. Paula?
Trustee Calhoun,
Aye.
Dr. LeBlanc,
Aye.
Dr. Little,
Aye.
Trustee Ramos,
Aye.
Trustee Lopez.
Aye.
Thank you.
Moving on to 14.07, Administrative Services, Contracts over 95,200, Atkinson and Anderson, Loya, Rude, and Romo. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Trustee Calhoun and seconded by Dr. Little. Do we have any discussion, Trustee Calhoun?
No.
Dr. LeBlanc?
No.
Trustee Ramos?
No.
Dr. Little?
No.
All right. See no further discussion, Ms. Paula?
Trustee Ramos,
Aye.
Trustee Calhoun,
Aye.
Dr. LeBlanc,
Aye.
Dr. Little,
Aye.
Trustee Lopez.
Aye. On to
Thank you.
item 14.08, Administrative Services, Contracts over 92,500 for CDW-G. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
It's been moved by Trustee Calhoun
Second.
and it's been seconded by Trustee Little. Dr. Little, do we have any discussion on Trustee Calhoun?
No.
Dr. LeBlanc?
No.
Trustee Ramos?
No.
Dr. Little?
No.
Ms. Paula, can you call the question?
Dr. LeBlanc,
Aye.
Dr. Little,
Aye.
Trustee Ramos,
Aye.
Trustee Calhoun,
Aye.
Trustee Lopez.
Aye.
Thank you.
Moving on to item 14.09, Administrative Services, Contracts over 92,500, Securitas Security Services USA. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Trustee Calhoun and seconded by Dr. Little. Do we have any discussion, Trustee Calhoun?
No.
Dr. LeBlanc?
No.
Trustee Ramos?
Just, is that the expected end date that we're going to be using them? Like, what's the update with that?
This is just an open PO for us regards to services. As I mentioned in previous board meetings, we haven't been able to hire police officers, and due to COVID-19, we have not been able to do the background checks of police officers. And so that's why on today's board meeting, you have the background check individuals back on there to help us through this process. So this past year, we used Securitas. It worked out well. So we have an open PO until we're able to fill the police department.
Okay.
Dr. Little?
The pricing is competitive, Dr. Curry, with the ongoing open PO?
Yeah, I last year, I think was, I got to look it up, but last year, I think we were close to 400,000. We increased it a little bit this past spring due to COVID-19. And so it has been competitive. And I would tell you, Securitas has been very good to us in the work they've been doing. So we're very pleased with it. And we continue to monitor the budget regards to Securitas, but the goal is to hire officers.
Okay, thank you. They are excellent. So that's why I was asking, this is possibly a longer term strategy, especially due to COVID.
The goal is to hire our police force, but I would tell you Securitas has been good to us. And so as we still working to try to make sure we hire the right people, we're not forced to make a bad decision. And so I'm okay with what Securitas is doing, and we continue to go through the process to hire good police officers.
Seeing no further discussion, Ms. Paula?
Trustee Calhoun,
Aye.
Dr. LeBlanc,
Aye.
Dr. Little,
Aye.
Trustee Ramos,
Aye.
Trustee Lopez.
Aye.
Thank you.
Moving on to item number 15, discussion and action for 15.01, resolution number 0616-2020F, affirming Compton Community College commitment to faculty and staff diversity. Dr. Curry.
So the last board meeting, the board, I think it was Trustee Dr. Little asked a question about a board resolution in regards to our commitment to faculty staff diversity. And so we, Tina Cooperman worked on the draft of this. I also shared it with the Chancellor's office. We got some feedback from California Community College Chancellor's office, the Deputy Chancellor. I think it's actually a good resolution for the board as it relates to our commitment, the board's commitment to faculty staff diversity. And we laid out the things that have occurred, and also the next steps in regards to how we move forward as an institution regards to faculty staff diversity. And so if the board is okay with it, we can be able to move forward, and we can move forward tonight and approve it. Or if you have any changes you'd like to see made, we can bring it back. And then the next piece about it is how we operationalize the resolution.
All right, Trustee Calhoun, do you have any questions regarding this resolution?
No.
Dr. LeBlanc?
No.
Trustee Ramos?
No.
Dr. Little?
No.
All right, moving on to 15.02.
So so what's the next steps? The board is there as a discussion. The board is okay with the resolution as drafted. We can be able to move forward with approval tonight. And then, because it's labeled as an action item, you can approve it tonight, and then we come back next month with regards to operationalizing it.
So can I get a motion to approve resolution number 0616-2020F, affirming Compton Community College District commitment to faculty and staff diversity?
So moved.
Second.
So it has been moved by Dr. LeBlanc and seconded by Trustee Calhoun. Do we have any discussion? Seeing no discussion, Ms. Paula?
Trustee Calhoun,
Aye.
Dr. LeBlanc,
Aye.
Dr. Little,
Aye.
Trustee Ramos,
Aye.
Trustee Lopez.
Aye.
Thank you.
Moving on to 15.02, 2018-2019 Compton College fact book.
So at the last board meeting, we talked about the updated fact book and the things that we're working on to get the fact book completed. I just want to let the board know this is the updated fact book 2018-19. We're able to resolve all the issues with Banner and also the issue with the National Clearinghouse. So thank you to the Mission Records Department and also to our Institutional Research Department for completing this task. And I just want to make sure, we present it to the board. If you have questions regards to the fact book, but it has all of our updated data regards to our institution. It not only, it includes our demographic data as well. So it is all updated.
And
there's no action unless the board has any follow-up that you want me to do with it.
so do we have any discussion or questions, Trustee Calhoun?
No.
Dr. LeBlanc?
No.
Trustee
That's on the,
Ramos?
you're talking on the fact book, right?
Correct.
Okay. No questions. No comments.
Trustee Ramos
No.
and Dr. Little?
No.
All right, moving on to 15.03, Compton College Oliver W. Connor Promise Program Report.
So at the last board meeting, the question was asked regards to the Oliver W. Connor Promise Program and what's happening in regards to recruitment for the fall. We included in our last month board agenda an updated report of where we're at. The deadline for students to apply is June 30th. of this month, and the staff has told me today that they want to extend the deadline for that. One of the issues that we've been having in regards to recruitment so far has been the remote learning. And so we did do a postcard to students. I'm going to increase the budget through our state dollars to do another mailing to all graduating seniors from Compton Unified, Linwood, and Paramount Unified School District, another postcard to those students regards to recruitment. But the biggest challenge has been regards to remote learning. And I give our staff some credit for the work they're doing, but we still have a lot more work to do regards to Promise program and recruitment. Is there any recommendations from board members regards to what else you might want to recommend? I will take those recommendations now.
So I'll start off with Trustee Calhoun.
Is that for 1404 or 3?
We are on 1503.
I mean 1503. Dr. Curry, I had a question and you answered it, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I was just concerned about the numbers, but he answered the question. And
Okay.
Going to Dr. LeBlanc, do you have?
Yes, I just would like to say that I am pleased with Paramount's participation in the program. Even though they are newcomers to the program, they this time out participated Compton Unified School District. And so for Paramount, that's a really big deal. We want to do even better as we go into the new academic year. But for now, we are pleased with what we have accomplished.
Trustee Ramos?
No.
Dr. Little?
Yes, I just wanted to agree that the program is outstanding. My actual neighbor who attended this program and at 18 has graduated high school and has his AA. And I think we really have to figure out a way to have more students whose parents' tax dollars contribute to the school reap the benefits of this, because it saves them 2 years. Trustee Calhoun and I co-hosted a community meeting, and that was also of interest. And so I think we have to find a concerted way to ensure people take advantage of this program. So that's my only caveat. Thank you.
And even though it doesn't have to do with the actual program, if we can most definitely add an update on the foundation board, which is tied into the program that we're conducting as well. So that one does that need an adoption?
No.
That was just an info. Moving on to 15.04, Compton Community College District bid and contract process.
So at the last, actually during my meeting with Trustee Lopez about the board agenda, the question was raised by contracts and what's happening with contracts on our campus. And so I know Ruben James is on the board online, who's our Director of Purchasing and Auxiliary Services. But as we know, the issue started with the contract with the vending machines and making sure that our contracts we're reviewing the contracts. So what I did was provide an update to the board regards to where we're at regards to contracts. The major concern that we have as we move forward is make sure that we have a contract database system to be able to monitor the contracts and to make sure that when contract expires, there's a notification to managers. The other issue we have to make sure is that our personal service agreement contract is updated, and also our contract template is updated, include all the information that needs to be included. And so I'm putting it to the board. This is one of our issues, and I'm not hiding that this is one of our problems. And my fear is that this is one of the issues that will get the district in trouble, because we have to make sure that our contracts are clean.
And so exactly what is it that you're putting before us, just to make us aware of the issue?
I'm putting it as an update, but also the follow-up steps is that the contract template has to be updated, and also our personal service agreement template has to be updated. And we also have to have a contract management system database. The big issue that we had, which I was able to resolve, was regards to the vending machine, where that contract expired, and I had to go back and fix that contract and not have a rolling contract, which I discussed with the board. So I want to provide the board with the update of what we did, of where we're at, but also address any questions you might have as it relates to contracts.
Okay, and so I'll start off with Trustee Calhoun.
No.
Dr. LeBlanc?
No.
Trustee Ramos?
No.
Dr. Little? Dr. Little?
I'm sorry, I didn't realize I was mute. I said no.
Okay. So this isn't necessarily an action item. This was just an update. In any other of the future meetings, will you be giving us an actual update on the whatever method is created and shared with the board?
Yeah, so the goal is that at the next board meeting, we have to have a contract database, but then also too, the personal service agreements and also the standard basic contract for the district has to be completed before July 31st. My fear is that if we don't get on top of this and make sure we're monitoring this, is that it could be a potential liability for the district.
So we're looking forward to getting an update next month. Moving on to number 16, grant items, administrative services. Grant State of California Department of Education Agreement for Child Development Services, CCTR-80083. This is an action, discussion, and information item. Dr. Curry?
Yeah, so this one is a approval of the grants. So you're approving item 16.01 and also 16.02. And those are revenue.
We could put these together as a motion, or
Correct.
are you asking them to be done separately?
You can do it both together.
All right, so I'm putting the motion on the floor to approve 16.01 and 16.02.
So moved.
Second,
So it's been moved by Trustee Calhoun and seconded by Dr. Little. Do we have any discussion, Trustee Calhoun?
No.
Dr. LeBlanc?
No.
Trustee Ramos?
No.
Dr. Little?
no.
All right, seeing none, Ms. Paula?
Dr. LeBlanc,
Aye.
Dr. Little,
Aye.
Trustee Ramos,
Aye.
Trustee Calhoun,
Aye.
Trustee Lopez.
Aye.
Thank you.
On number 17, I won't go through each one individually, but if there's a particular one that we would like to discuss, if you would let me know and we can pull it. If not, these are information items that will be brought before us in next month's board meeting to approve and amend if necessary.
I think the one that to note is the one regards to item number 17.14. We're going to bring that back to address Trustee Calhoun's questions about the showers and the good standing. But overall, these are a part of the policies. Most of these are cleanup versions of what was brought forward last month that showed edits. A lot of these administrative regulations are the cleanup versions from last month.
Got it. So I'll open it up for discussion or questions. Trustee Calhoun?
No.
Dr. LeBlanc?
No.
Trustee Ramos?
No.
Dr. Little?
No.
All right, moving on to item number 18, information items. Dr. Curry?
There's no need for me to go through the information items tonight. I just want to point out one area that I think is very important for the board. Actually, I'm sorry, there's two. 18.18, I'm sorry, 18.17, I gave you the update on the PERS and STIRS and also our OPEB trust. And I'm making sure the board is updated regards to where we're at regards to stock market on those. So that one's important to continue to monitor. And also 18.23, I wanted to make sure the board was aware of the Chancellor's Office recommendations in regards to faculty staff diversity. And I want to include that report in today's board agenda. So those are two I want to make sure I get to the board. And I'm sorry, one more. Item 18.26, we do have a bond oversight committee meeting on Thursday, and it's going through Zoom. They'll be reviewing the annual report. And I will make sure that we send you a copy of the agenda to the board, but it's also posted online.
Moving on to item number 19, future agenda items. We have listed on there if there is any other further discussion for the board members. Trustee Calhoun?
No, I gave mine to Dr. Curry already.
Got it. Dr. LeBlanc?
No.
Trustee Ramos?
No.
Dr. Little,
No.
is there anything you need to share with us, Dr. Curry?
No, I do have the updates from earlier today's meeting in regards to next steps, and we will make sure those items are on the agenda.
Got it. All right, moving on to oral reports. Dr. Curry.
So I have a couple items that I want to report on. One is I do want to say thank you to, I received several emails and telephone calls and text messages regards to my health. I am working slowly to get back to work. And I want to say thank you to the Board of Trustees for understanding my current medical condition. And I also want to say thank you to Rochelle Sasser for her leadership this past week. But I've been slowly getting back into the groove regards to serving as the president and CEO of the college. I do want to say thank you to Heather Parnock and Andre Pacheco for their work regards to the virtual commencement ceremony. I know when people first saw the idea about doing a virtual commencement and videotaping what this might look like, I thought it went very well. I also want to say thank you to them for the signs, the lawn signs that we purchased. I need to send a copy to the board so you see what the lawn signs look like. But we did purchase lawn sign for our students, and they were able to pick that up from Campus Police. But I thought last week's ceremony was really nice. It was really organized, and it was a really quality production. And it happened because of Heather Parnock and also Andre Pacheco. I also wanted to talk a little bit about the eventual return to campus, and there's been a lot of conversations on campus about what does this mean. And so I sent an email out to the campus community yesterday regards to eventual return. We're gathering all the information of what this looks like regards to eventual return to campus. The major concern is we have students who took courses this past spring semester and still need to finish lab hours over summer. So we're trying to figure out what that looks like. And we requested guidance from LA County on that. And so we're trying to work through some issues. And as I tell the employees, and I'm also asking for the board, is to just be patient with us as we go through this process, because there's a lot of different dominoes that come with this. And so our goal is to continue to keep the board abreast as it relates to eventual return, but we're trying to figure this all out. And so one of the things that we're trying to figure out is this return for our PTE students. We also have to figure out this athletic piece where the statewide association for athletics approved for athletics to be offered in the fall. What does that look like as it relates to social distancing? And how do we offer the classes? So there's a lot of unknown questions that we have to figure out over the next couple of weeks. And then you also start to see the numbers again start to spike as it relates to COVID-19. So what does that mean? So we're trying to figure this out. At the next board meeting, we can provide an update regards to eventual return and let them keep the board abreast of what we're doing. Also want to talk about Achieving a Dream. I'm excited about our participating in Achieving a Dream. There was a press conference that came out regards to the 5 schools that were announced to participate in Achieving a Dream. We were the only one that had funding provided by Kresge to support our participation in Achieving a Dream. And Achieving a Dream is a national network, and this will help us as we move forward and seek the Aspen Prize. Majority of the individuals, the 10 colleges that were finalists for the Aspen this year were Achieving a Dream colleges. But the key for us is focusing on teaching and learning. And I do want to say the Academic Senate has been involved in this conversation from day one, and we're excited about participating in Achieving a Dream. And the final piece regards to election, I have been informed by staff that we have 4 individuals apply for 2 positions. However, they did not conduct elections, and they want to move elections back to June, which is not in alignment with their constitution. So tomorrow I'll be following back up with staff with regards to elections and next steps. So the positions have not been filled, and no one applied for the student trustee position. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Moving on to item 20.02, Board of Trustees. And we will start with Trustee Calhoun.
Okay, all right. Hello, everybody. The graduation was beautiful. Oh my goodness, the speeches, the students. I like some of them that did say some things and a couple didn't. I like the picture of the young lady sitting outside. I think it was on the Artesia side possibly, and she was sitting on the she threw her hat up and it caught it on the picture. She had a couple of things to say. So I like all that. Dr. Curry, I did receive the summer 2020 You told me how did I like it, and I enjoyed it, going through it, reading all the classes and everything that's going on. Our pictures are in here also. Every Thursday, there is a webinar, and it's people from the Community College League of California. So every Thursday, I'm on that webinar, and we've had some great presenters, and one of the webinar moderator is Adrian Gray, and we have Ji Hong, that's his name, right? Ji Hong,
Yeah.
and Andrew Martinez, Ryan McElhenney, and Jonathan somebody. And then as far as when it comes to the trustees that are on it, Diana Shelton, president of Associate Students, Pasadena City College. Oh my goodness, this young lady is tough. She is tough. And Catalina's gonna print it out for me about everything that happens. So if you ladies and gentlemen want it to be emailed to you, I could email it to you. You could print it out or whatever, but dynamite speech. And so the Board of Trustees that are there is Kenneth Brown, Vice President, Board of Trustees from El Camino College, Meredith Brown, Trustee Peralta, CCD, and partner with AALRR. Myself, Trustee Calhoun. Then we have Linda Handy. She's from Peralta. She's a trustee. We have Eric Payne. He's a trustee. And then we had Edward Bush. He's the president, Consumers River College, A2 Men, and Brian Cliff Breland, Chancellor of San Jose Evergreen CCD. This is a fantastic group of young individuals. We have been talking about diversity and what's going on in our colleges, and also what's going on with Triple CT. And the other one is ACCT. And so we get federal updates, we get legislative updates, budget updates, what's going on with the budget. And that was one of my questions about the college, because not getting funded anymore. That was one of my questions, because that's where it came from. And so as far as AACCT, they are accepting applications for individuals that want to run. And the application have to be in by July the 1st. And I'm going to do an application for the AACCT also. And I'm just so happy with the direction that our college is going in. I am so glad that our one employee, Dr. Curry, is doing much better. Long as he get those 2 stands to be able to stand up and not sit down all the time. And I thank him for his due diligence. And I thank him most of all for always being there when I need him and answering all of my questions with no issue. I give him my questions, like really, I try to do it on a Sunday, so that gives him time to work on it that Sunday and Monday, and he gives it to me on Tuesday. And I like that a lot, instead of just doing the questions. That's just me, how I prefer it. And so with all that said, although I love this Zoom and I love seeing you ladies and gentlemen on Zoom, I really can't wait until the day that I actually get to see you ladies and gentlemen in person and either do an elbow pump. We have on our masks and gloves, I don't know, but we don't know what's gonna happen, and we don't know where it's going, and we don't know when it's gonna come out. So this is our normal for right now. This is a new normal, but we still have to maintain for faculty, staff, and all of our students and everything. So I'm looking forward. Keeping busy, staying home, walking around my backyard with my steps, and a couple other things I'll be doing, but that's all. I love y'all.
Thank you. Moving on to Dr. LeBlanc.
Just want to say the graduation was outstanding, and I am grateful to God that Dr. Curry is improving. very, very happy with his leadership and the direction that Compton Community College District is going. I want to say that Trustee Lopez did a great job in bringing her message during the graduation, and just want to encourage everyone to continue to be safe. This COVID-19 disease is real, and a lot of people are not taking it serious, but it is something that we really have to deal with. It is our new normal now. And so have a good summer, but be safe, and certainly keep washing your hands and take it serious. God bless you. Happy Father's Day to the fathers.
Moving on to Trustee Ramos.
I just wanted to say that the graduation was lovely. It's our first one online and my first time seeing one. And I was impressed with all the speakers, especially Trustee Lopez. It was great hearing her speak and then also translating the speech. And also our keynote speaker, Mr. Harper. But also big thanks to Heather Parnock and I forgot who, Mr.
Pacheco.
Oh, Mr. Pacheco, and just anyone else, because it just sucks that our students didn't get the whole physical thing, but even the online thing meant something to them, and it was lovely to see. That's all I have.
All right, thank you. Dr. Little?
Yes, I want to concur about the graduation. I think that it really demonstrated the commitment of the college to the students, and that while we could not be physically in person, there was definitely no lack of intentional commitment and time and effort. It was very professional, and I think it represented our college district and all of the graduates wonderfully. Thank you to Dr. Curry and the entire team for not only preparing that, but for modeling for our students their value and their worth and their importance. I also want to thank Dr. Curry and his entire team for supporting Trustee Calhoun and myself. We had a community meeting as we wanted to ensure that despite COVID, that we are still connecting with our community and letting them know even more so how the college will be of service during these very tenuous and changing times. I would like to thank all of my fellow trustees as we continue to lead. Again, thank you very much for Dr. Curry being back on the mend, and would like to thank his administrative team and everyone at the college for supporting him. And finally, I definitely want to acknowledge the times that we are living in. Appreciate again Amber's charge to us. And I would ask that as an educational institution that we stand up at all times against any form of inhumanity, marginalization, racism, and anything that would undermine our collective community. And so thank you all for the ability to serve, and we look forward to seeing you next month.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I want to thank the team for most definitely putting a wonderful celebration for our students. I know it was not one that the college intended on celebrating as their first graduation ceremony, and most definitely class of 2020, but we most definitely made the best of it. Wonderful student speaker, wonderful guest speaker, and wonderful pop-in hellos from spontaneous guest speakers that were not scheduled. Also, I wanted to touch upon Dr. Curry's report. You briefly mentioned, but I think I heard you said that we didn't have a student trustee either run or win. I really wasn't sure because I didn't hear any.
We did not have a student trustee, someone sign up for it, nor did we conduct elections. So they had 4 individuals apply for 2 positions. And so they moved elections back to sometime this June. And so I'll be getting a full report tomorrow from Andre Pacheco in regards to that. But right now they did not conduct elections. And so that's, which is not in compliance with their constitution. So we'll be following back up with the staff in regards to that.
Got it. So does that mean we also don't have an ASB president at the moment.
Correct.
Or student trustee, actually, yeah. That's my only other report. In addition to, I asked earlier about the foundation, if you can give us an update as to proposed meetings for 2020. We are halfway through the year, and I don't necessarily know if we've put together the actual board. At least I don't believe that us as the trustees have been notified. So if you can share that information.
Yeah, we will follow up. I will follow up with a report at the next board meeting, prior to the next board meeting.
Thank you so much. And to all the fathers, have a wonderful Father's Day on Sunday and a 4th of July, which is around the corner as well. Our next regularly scheduled board meeting is on Tuesday, July 21st, 2020. Closed session is at 4 o'clock and open session is scheduled at 5 p.m. We are adjourning in the memory of all Black Lives Lost, submitted by trustee Dr. LeBlanc, both in protest and those that have died in the arms of police force. Thank you very much. It is 7:34 and the meeting is adjourned.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, bye.
Hey.